Alright, so we are 2 chapters in now, and already I am at a loss to explain what's going on. Basically, Skarscandal has turned out to be an extremely militaristic ruler of his planet Gals, and he has decided to conquer the 2 nearby moons, and by conquer I mean explode. So first he destroyed Odell, which was inhabited by tall green people, and when he attacked the second moon, he was foiled by a child named Red Dragon who accidentally activated a giant missile laser beam. So now Gals is half destroyed, the people of Lithra are safe. I wrote all this some 26 years ago, so who knows what the hell is going to happen next. This is the Dragon Brothers. Chapter 3, Scar's Revenge. Lucky for Scar, his empire was barely hurt at all. The whole other empire on Gals had been blown away, even though Scar was furious. "Who did it?" he said. "Bob and Linda Symphony hired lots of people to build a giant weapon, but a kid named Red Dragon pulled the trigger," said one of the people who said one of the people who had heard or seen what had happened. "A kid!" shouted Scar. His voice echoed throughout the land. "Half my planet was destroyed by a kid?" Meanwhile, the guard on Lithra had taken Red Dragon back to his family. "Hooray for our little hero," shouted his mother. "A toast to the man who saved Lithra," said his father, holding a glass of champagne. No one was paying any attention to Black Dragon until it was their bedtime. "Tell us a story," said Red Dragon. Their father told them a story they had heard many times before. It was the legend of the Blue Ring Sword. Many, many years ago, there was a great warrior called Rabian. Every time a planet was in trouble, he would come out of nowhere and help it. He did this with his magical blue ring sword. Then one day, when he was trying to stop Lithra from being invaded, he got outnumbered. Many aliens attacked him. He killed a lot of them with his blue ring sword, but not enough. They pushed him down a steep canyon. The legend says that it was the canyon about a mile from our house. And the legend also says that if someone would climb down that canyon, they would see the blue ring sword suspended in air, near the bottom. "Is it really there?" asked Black Dragon. Hang on. Loud vehicles passing. "Is it really there?" asked Black Dragon, who was always interested in this story. "I don't know, it's just a legend," said their father. The next morning, before anyone woke up, Black Dragon sneaked out of the house with his father's rope and canteen. He walked and walked. He ran and ran. "When I get the blue ring sword, they'll think I'm a hero too." Finally, he saw it. The canyon. There was a few trees, so he tied the end of his rope to one of them. He tied the other end around his waist and started to climb down. When he got about halfway down, he saw something blue and shiny in the distance. "The blue ring sword!" he shouted, and completely let go of the rope. He fell for a while, and when he got to the bottom of his rope, he stopped. "Good thing I tied it to my waist," he thought. Then he saw it, the blue ring sword suspended in air. "Yahoo!" he shouted. "The blue ring sword!" He swung over and tried to grab it, but it wouldn't move. He tried again, but it just wouldn't budge. Finally, he felt his rope lower about a half-inch. His knot was coming loose. He started climbing back up, but when he got near the top, his knot gave way. He felt for a second, then he saw a hand grab the end of his rope and pull it back up. It was Fred Symphony. "What were you doing?" It's a long story. The dragon family and everyone else on Lithra lived peacefully for 12 years. Then one day, Scar attacked again. The big spaceships came. The little spaceships came. A whole bunch of little spaceships fired missiles at the building where the weapon was being kept and destroyed it. People started running to the escape rockets and they began blasting off. Fred Symphony and Red and Black Dragon were separated from their parents. Linda and Bob Symphony and Silver and Gold Dragon had no choice but to escape in the rockets. Soon, almost everyone had escaped, except for Red Dragon, Black Dragon, and Fred. They ran into the Symphony's house for shelter. Suddenly, a laser beam hit the weather vane and traveled into the house. It struck Fred's right hand. "Arrgh!" he shouted. Black and Red Dragon saw a fancy spaceship hovering outside. They ran out to it. "Don't leave me!" shouted Fred. But it was too late. Fred was in too much pain to run fast enough to get into the ship. After Red and Black Dragon got in, it flew away. Fred's hand was now burned and melted. He climbed onto the top of his house, and when the big ship swooped down to drop the 4 huge atomic bombs, Fred climbed into the open hatch. The ship dropped the bombs and flew away with Fred in it. Then Lithra blew up. End of chapter.